More. Yep. All right. So this woman right here, her name is Mari Lucy, and I met her in Brazil in 2013 when I was giving a talk. That's her on the screen. She's going to come onto Zoom in a few minutes. But when I met her, she was also giving a talk at this conference that I was at. It was a TED conference, and her talk was so moving. So powerful, man. As you go through life, you'll have the opportunity to meet really interesting people, and it's a joy when you get to my age, when you've sort of accumulated lots of friends and acquaintances who are really interesting and cool people and lovely people. It's really a joy to have them, just to have those people in one's life. So this is a woman who's in my life, and she's been in my life since then, and I personally and Social Need have supported a project that she does, and she does it this project in this favela in Rio called Complexo de Alemão, and the German complex it is in English, and it's for kids so that they don't have to have the same childhood trauma experiences that she had. And okay. Go ahead. And from above, this is what the community looks like. In Portuguese the Brazilians call a favela. Like in India it's called a slum, and different countries have different words for that. But it's a really, really poor community. And okay, next slide. But down on the ground, this is what it looks like. I mean, it's heavily policed. And the police have all these periods where, because there's a lot of violence in the community, and a lot of violence is out of self-protection. But you have drugs, you have robbery, you have all sorts of things. But the gangs kind of police the community, and the police police the gangs. And there's lots of death and violence and extrajudicial killings. That the police will come in and kill like 6 people and just leave their bodies on the street and leave. Anyway, next slide. And so you see those kids on the right? So imagine those kids on the right. These are the kids that Mari Lucy is working with. Hey, is Pedro not around? Okay, all right. So this is what's going on all the time. So Mari Lucy, next slide. She started this organization called Favela Art, in which she teaches kids how to paint and how to do any number of things. But painting is the main thing. And you see this young girl making a mural on the walls of this community to make it more beautiful, because everyone wants to live in a beautiful community, right? And so here's a young woman. She starts from, these kids are 3 years old, they're painting. And next, it's this style that they developed of housing. Here's a couple kids. These are all, so anyway, next slide. That's a painting that I commissioned. That's my living room. And I commissioned her and the kids to paint this painting for me. It's just really cool, right? It's just awesome. It's my favorite thing in the world. Anyway, well, maybe not in the world, but you know what I mean. I love it because I love her. Anyway, next one. So we raise money in Social 18 for them, okay, for these projects, because we do. And because I give money, I have projects all over the world, but once in a while I come into class and I'm like, hey, can you all contribute to X, Y, or Z project? So we're raising money right now because she's trying to be a formal legal organization so she can get funds from NGOs and stuff. At this point, she's not. Next slide. We raised money to build the library in Social 19 for the school. Keep going. Wait, I can't get on until Pedro's on, man. He's on? Oh, I don't see him there. Okay. Next one. And then they do an annual Christmas party. Every fall semester, we raise some funds for kids, the Christmas party. And I love that. Alyssa. Kids, man. You know, kids are the same all over the world, right? They're all the same. They just want to be loved, and they really want to love. And next one. So I'll go back. So anyway, can we bring Maria Lucy and Pedro on? I just want you to I just want you to say hi. I just want her to say hi for a few minutes before we go. Is Pedro? Where's?
He just has his camera off. Our settings.
Oh, is his camera off? All right. Maria Lucy, can you hear me? Maria Lucy.
Olá. Olá, pessoal. Aqui é boa tarde, tudo bem? Eu sou Mariluz Mariá, tá tudo bem aqui, graças a Deus. Eu estava com as crianças, desci para poder participar aqui junto com vocês. Eu não entendi quase nada que você falou, Sam, mas sei que você falou alguma coisa de nós, do Favela Art.
Okay. Pedro, you're there, right?
Yeah, what's up, Sam?
What did she say, man?
She said she was with the kids. She couldn't understand much that you're saying, but she knows that you're talking about the art, the project in the favela, and yeah, she's just glad to be here with everyone.
I'm saying how much I love her, right?
Ele tava
Tell her
perguntando.
that. Tell her that Sam was also saying how much he loves you.
Dona Maria Luz, tudo bem? Prazer, meu nome é Pedro. Eu trabalho com o Sam. Ele tá falando se você sabe quanto que ele te ama. Que ele tá falando isso pra turma
Se
dele.
eu sei o quê?
O quanto ele ama você e as crianças aí no Rio.
Sim, nós sabemos. Muito. Nós também amamos muito, 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 Sam.
Yeah.
Porque hoje
Yeah.
o nosso projeto ainda funciona graças a toda a ajuda e toda a força que ele manda pra gente, principalmente nos momentos que a gente tá quase assim enfraquecendo. Ele vai lá e fortalece a gente.
Que bonito. She's saying how in the hardest moments you guys always come through to have the project keep going. She's saying that all of them in Rio also love you and the class very much because of that. Yeah.
Tell her just thank you for coming on, and I'll be in touch with her. Okay, we all give her a big heart.
Ele tá dizendo para você que logo logo ele vai estar em contato com você para estar junto com vocês e que tá mandando um grande abraço por toda a turma para você e para todos aí.
Ótimo. O quadro dele tá aqui, ó. Estamos esperando pra entregar ele.
She said,
Ask her if that's a new art style, right? A new style of painting.
mm-hmm.
Ask her if that.
She said yours is ready. She's like it's ready for you. Yeah. Okay. Ele falou para se preparar que ele tá querendo vir visitar o Rio.
Que bom.
Hey, listen.
Ai, vai ser ótimo.
Okay. All right, Maria Lucy. A big heart to you. Yeah. Tell her we send a love to her.
Ele tá mandando um coração, fazendo um coração aí. Não sei se você tá vendo ele. Ele tá fazendo um coração com a mão e mandando muito amor para todos.
Uhum.
Okay.
Queria fazer, eu tô com as
Tchau.
duas mãos ocupadas.
Okay.
Mas
Ciao.
Her hands are occupied holding the camera.
All right. Okay, that's good. Okay.
mas tem um coração.
Okay, ciao. Yeah. All right. Okay. Listen, man. If you listen, I just want to tell you something, man. You know, I don't like to talk about this because it goes out on the stream and like I don't know, but if you knew what her life was, if you had any idea what her life was, you'd be blown away by the fact that she's even alive, right? And so it's just as a lesson to me the resiliency of human life. And many of you are in the same boat. And many of you, maybe you're not there yet, but you will be, who, when you've gone through things that are so traumatic, and the only thing that you can do is give back so that somebody else doesn't have to go through that. You know, that's the nature of the human condition, right? That's how we are as humans. We don't lash out. We don't harm other people because we've been traumatized. Some of us do, but the vast majority of us, what we do is we try to do things so that other people don't have to have the same experience. And that's a really, really cool thing. So if you feel like you want to give up hope on the human condition and that sort of thing, I'm here to say, like, don't. Yeah, no. Okay, all right, that's cool. Then I want to say, like, wait, can we just turn that one off though? Yeah. I want to just be here to say, actually, most humans, that's not how we respond. We respond actually in the exact opposite way. So can you put my Venmo and Cash App thing up? So listen, you don't have to give, right? You already pay Penn State. It's fine. I have these projects. You're not responsible for them. But if you feel like it, wait, the Venmo. If you feel like it, either Cash App or Venmo, just send a little money. What we're doing is we're trying to legalize, or she's trying to legalize her organization so it's official and she can get funds. So we're raising money for that, to make that happen. Wait.
It's coming on. We're dealing with the video.
All right, okay. All right, man. So anyway, we'll put that up for you. And if you feel like it, you can give. And if you don't have to. But for me, it's an opportunity for all of us too. It's there. It's not here. Can you put it on the big screen?
Technical difficulties, people. Give us a second. Oh, there it is on the main screen.
Yeah. All right. There it is. All right. So if you feel like it, go ahead. All right, man. John, you're on, my friend. Love to raise some funds, man, and I'll make sure that they all go down there. Dude, you might want to just sit here. Yeah. Might be most comfortable. Are we ready? Wait, hang on. Can you just... Can you put John up, actually, or the PowerPoints? Hey, all right, everybody, let's go. We're having some technical difficulties with the stuff here. Hey, dude, introduce yourself now.
Hi.
Wait, push it up. There you are.
Hi, I'm John. Right now I'm a senior.
Wait,
yeah.
Is it on? Just hold it close to your mouth.
Hello?
Yeah,
There it is, yeah. My name's John. I'm a senior right now doing major in physics and math. Yeah.
And so, John, you applied to volunteer. I'm going to explain why John is up here. In your volunteer form, you wrote something that I said, okay, hang on, we might have to bring you up. So each semester, it seems as though for the past several years, I have someone in class who's connected to one of the mass shootings that have happened in the United States. And maybe some of you who are here are, but in any case, John had written on the volunteer form that he attended Sandy Hook Elementary School. And And then it happened that the other day, I remembered that I saw him after the class that we did, I think, on mental health. And you and I started talking a little bit. And I said, hang on, we have to do that. And I didn't want to invite him up on the mental health class because the conversation with John, it just required something a little more. And so the other at the beginning of the semester, we did a class called Run, Hide, Fight. And I think we talked about gun violence and guns in American culture. But I thought that the conversation with you would just take us to another level, because this is something, this kind of trauma that we're just seeing increasingly. It feels like it's just growing. I mean, it's just here. It's growing. It's not going away. It's spreading, and I don't want to sensationalize the issue, but it's something we need to talk about. So can you go to the next slide? No. Oh, damn, we didn't. Oh, God. We didn't do the quiz. Why don't we do this? Let's do the quiz at the end. So Julie, make the quiz at the end 3 points. Let's just go. We're just going to get on with class. Okay? So Sandy Hook Elementary School was a mass killing that I thought, many of us thought, this was going to be a mass shooting that changed guns in the United States. Hey, by the way, we're not doing attendance in the beginning. So if you saw that, don't do it. We're not doing that. We're just going to do it at the end. So now what you need to do is put your phones down. Yo. Phones down. Laptops down. This was the mass shooting in the United States that many of us thought was going to be the one that changed us as a culture, that we were going to do something. And that's because 20 children died and 7 adults, and 8 counting the shooter, who wasn't entirely an adult. But this is, the killing was done with a semi-automatic, I can't, for those of you who don't know anything about this, I don't want to be gratuitous, but you need to understand. It was a crime scene. I've been reading some stuff about people who were part of the crime scene, who said, it changed their lives forever. Like, you can't even imagine what we're talking about, what it would have been. Okay, so the next slide. This is the school. This is Sandy Hook Elementary before they tore it down on just a regular school day. So, okay, you can darken the screen. So, bro, tell us. Tell us how you're connected.
So I just want to start this off, I guess, by saying I wasn't there when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I had graduated about a year before that.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, I didn't personally know any of the children, but I knew some of their siblings. I recognized some of the faces, and then some of the staff I did know.
And you went to the school, though?
Yeah.
And you had gone, so it goes up through 4th grade, and then you went to the 5th and 6th grade school in Newton. And so you were in school that day, but at a different school.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And so the whole experience is, it's a small community, right? This is not a big city. This is a small community. Can you just say something about it? So we can kind of feel.
Yeah. If you want, I can go through my experience during that day.
Yeah, I want to do that for sure. But say something about the community first. Do you know about how many? There's just one school for each grade, or multiple schools?
Yeah. So there was I think 2 or 3 elementary schools.
Mm-hmm.
Sandy Hook was one of them. And then the school after that, the 5th, 6th grade, that was Reed Intermediate. And then there's Newtown Middle School, which is 7th and 8th grade, and then the high school.
Mm-hmm. So it's one of these communities, when we think about this, the tragedy of this level, right? It's something that just impacts like everybody,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So tell us about that day, like walk through.
So I don't really remember anything specifically like from the morning before everything started. But what I do remember is like being in, I think like my first period PE class.
And you were like, what, 9 or 10?
I was, I think 11.
11, okay.
So we originally like went into lockdown. And I remember they said like that we were having a lockdown drill. Like specifically, they didn't say like outright that it was lockdown, but they said it was like a code black. And like none of us knew what that meant. But I think a lot of the teachers definitely like had some sort of idea that something was like really wrong was going on, because like that's not something that you would normally get during a lockdown drill.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I remember like we were in the gym for I think about 4 hours with just no word from anything. So like we kind of all knew that there was something going on, but we had no idea what. And I remember like near the end of that 4 hours, they said that like the lockdown drill was over. We were just doing like a hold and secure, which is basically I think like we could move throughout the school, but like no one was allowed in or out. And they said there has been an incident at Sandy Hook. And none of us knew what that was.
Yeah. This is the thing that, okay, hang on. I just want to, like an incident kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like you, and while that may, it not have been exactly the word, but it is the kind of word that we use, like a euphemistic word. And it's a yeah, okay. I just had to sit with that. So okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, but like I remember during like that kind of period of time, it was already super like surreal almost. Like it was really like no one had any idea what was going on. Just we knew that there was something very weird happening.
And where were your parents? Like,
so I think at this time both of my parents were at work.
okay.
But yeah, so like we were allowed to go back to our classrooms. I remember like we went to get lunch and stuff. And I had a handful of friends that had like brothers and sisters that were at Sandy Hook. One of my best friends had 2 sisters that were there. So like I remember like going to lunch and asking the lunch lady like, can I get him like an extra cookie? 'Cause like I know he's like worried about it and stuff. But yeah, so like I remember eventually like after lunch when we went back to the classrooms, there were some rumors that were starting to go around, because like I'm not sure if one of the kids had like a phone or access to the internet, or if one of the teachers was like saying anything. But like at this time, like I don't even think the media really knew exactly what was going on, because like the story was still developing. But I remember hearing that like a gun went off in the school. And I just remember like I'm not even religious, but I was praying that no one got like hurt or injured or anything. And I remember like eventually we were like getting more rumors that like it might have been like 3 or 4 people were injured or something. And I was getting really worried, but still like the whole magnitude of it was not it was not something that I would have ever even imagined.
Yeah.
And like at that point, like I was hoping it was all rumors.
Yeah, right. You couldn't imagine, right? You're 11 years old. Like you can't you're not going to think a slaughter, really. When did you see your parent? The parents must have, when that word got out, parents must have just swarmed.
Yeah, so I remember, like, I'm not sure if it was over the intercom. I think it was, like, the teachers were getting calls on their phones, basically. And it was essentially, like, students were getting called down to the office. And, like, no one had any idea why, but it was just, like, one after another. And I remember eventually my name got called. So I can't remember like if I was like escorted down the hallway or if I just went. I assume someone probably took me. But I remember getting to the front of the school, and there's like this big glass window, and I just saw a crowd of probably like 30 or 40 parents outside, and like I couldn't really see their faces or really see what was going on because like I was kind of far away at that point. But at that point I was just super confused. Like I knew there was something wrong. I didn't know like if the lockdown had anything to do with them trying to get into the school or like what exactly was happening. And I knew like they weren't allowed in the school at all, so like we had to get like let out to see our parents. And like this is like kind of the moment that like broke me. I remember coming outside. I wasn't really looking at any of the other parents. All I saw was my mom there who came to pick me up. And like one of the things that really stuck with me were just like how, it sounds corny, but like just how blue her eyes were, like her irises just compared to the rest of her eye, which was just bloodshot red. I've never seen anyone look as broken as she did. And like thinking from her perspective, like how do you tell your kid like what just happened in your elementary school, that 20 kids were just murdered? And I remember like I think she just outright said it, like 20 kids were shot and killed, and I instantly like completely broke down. Like I had no idea what was going on. I kept trying to like think it was some like sick joke that I would hate my parents for, and I couldn't even process what was going on. But I remember looking around, and all of the parents there were just crying, screaming, like trying to get their kids out. And I remember we got in the car, and she took me to go see my dad at his office. And my dad's a pediatrician, so I'm not entirely sure on this, but I'm pretty sure that some of the kids that were there that got killed were his patients. I do remember him telling me that he like held a lot of them when they were like newborns and stuff like that. But I remember we were driving through the town, and just everyone I saw was just like broken, crying, like literally like holding on to each other to keep themselves up. And it's just, I feel like when people hear about things like this, they don't really see or think about what that actually looks like in the community.
Yeah.
And I remember when we got there, like there were adults or parents or something that were in the office that were coming up to me, like literally like crying and telling me like, you don't deserve this, you don't deserve this. And I couldn't even fathom just any of it.
Yeah. At that point in time, do you remember when you first found out like the extent of what happened? Like, was it that night? I assume that, or like, yeah. When did you first find out? Because it was most of the kids were in a single classroom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are you saying like when I found out like the details of everything?
Yeah.
I guess?
Yeah. And I don't want to hear if
Yeah.
you don't know details, you can go look them up on your own. That doesn't matter. But when did you?
Like I'm gonna be honest. Like I know like people talk about like how you like block out trauma memories and stuff, but like I really don't remember anything from like the 2 weeks after that happened. Like so, I think like after I was at my dad's office, I don't remember anything after that.
That was actually going to be my next question, because I think you said it best. Well, this hits home for me because last week there was I think it was early last week or late the week before, there was a killing at a Sweet 16 party in a town down in Mississippi, I think. And what I remember so vividly was the next day, photos of crowds of people who were just hugging each other. There were just hundreds of people that came together hugging each other, right? And there's not much more you can do than that. And what I thought was, first, we talk about when we see the headlines, we talk about the number of people who died, and oftentimes the number of people who are wounded. But wounded means wounded by a bullet or something, not wounded by trauma and everything that goes along with that. And so my next question to you was going to be about trauma. Like, what do you know about trauma? What do you know about this? That, like, when you hear about these, mass killings and so on, which are pretty much every day in the United States at some level. What do you know that other people don't know? Like, what do you see?
I would say, like, with this kind of thing specifically, like for one thing, I want to just, like, get this out of the way. Like, I would rather be close to an event like this than have someone, like, in my family die, like my mom or my dad. But I think it is a very unique kind of trauma that a lot of people don't really think about, and that when it first happened, for one thing, like, there's just the fact that it's unfathomably like wrong and perverted, like that kind of thing, and trying to like be, once you're close to that kind of evil, I guess, one aspect is just trying to reconcile that inside of your mind. Like, it's not like you just lost someone. It's like something like truly evil has happened that desecrated your childhood.
Yeah, forever, right? You went to the school that now doesn't exist. Like, in that year, I think you were telling me the other day, like, kids all year for a while were allowed to, in the middle of class in your school, just get up and leave when they needed to, and that you must have had a lot of therapists in the school and stuff. Like, tell us about that. Like, what?
Yeah, so I remember in some of the weeks afterwards, once we went back to school, like, I don't even remember how long we actually took off before we went back.
Mm-hmm.
But when we did, I just remember there was this one time where a kid just broke down crying and started screaming out in the hallway, and I just remember watching a chain reaction of the entire class just starting to cry. And like that kind of chain reaction, like that didn't happen one time. That happened multiple times throughout that. And I remember one of the times just looking at the teacher, and they were almost just like spacing out, and it was like, I can't even imagine, like, not only having to cope with that, but having to like manage a classroom of kids that has been completely traumatized by that.
Man. And multiply that by so many times across, this country and the world, right? But when I think about Marie Lucy, when I showed the picture of the police with the guns and the little kids, and I think, wow, the trauma, man. Like, this is the thing that she tells me all the time. The amount of trauma that these kids go through every day because of deep poverty, because of violence, losing their parents, and that, like, you see that.
And actually, there's one more thing that's like kind of an interesting aspect of it. And it's that, like, when you lose someone close to you, you don't get reminded about it every single day generally. Like, usually you'll probably think about it every day. But having to, like, see that every day, like, every time there's, like, a mass shooting, there's no way to get away from it. Like, you can, like, you'll see it in your ads on your phone, front page of news stories. I remember at, like, the Uvalde one, there were some really, really graphic headlines about, like, there was, like, one student that, like, covered herself in her friend's blood to, like, act dead. And, like, that is not something that you really want to see. Like, you can turn off your ads, you cannot use the internet or social media. You're still going to see it on the TVs around campus, or if you, like, look a YouTube video up on the computers, like, you'll get an ad for, like, even, like, the Sandy Hook Promise saying, like, 11 years ago today, or like 9 years ago today, like, a man walked into my child's school with a gun, like, stuff like that. And I remember after Uvalde happened, the distinct feeling of, like, wow, this is annoying. Like, like, the fact that, like, someone can do something so horrible and the only really reaction you get is that it's just annoying is, like, almost unthinkable, I feel like.
Yeah. Man, dude. So these are some of the things that you see that many of us, and I'm sure there's a few people in this room who really relate to you for one reason or another, right? But that you see that we don't see, right? Like I see, when at the moment I see a shooting, I just see the trauma that goes out in concentric circles, right? It's not just this one family, or it's concentric circles, and the pain and the heartache, and yeah. So there's a way in which, you and the millions upon millions and millions of people walking in your shoes are part of, like an invisible tribe, right? And I'm gonna put a quote up in a second, but you just have this connection, right? When you drive by an elementary school, I mean, you must just see the sign, elementary school, and you, yeah. I mean, there are just so many. I mean, in some ways, we have to just sit with it, Yeah. How has this affected the way you conceptualize God and the afterlife? I mean, I know you're a scientist, right? So how has this affected the way you think about people and humans and, yeah.
So I think in terms of God, like, after it happened, like, that was one of the things that I would think a lot about. And I kind of like came up with a sort of like understanding that I think like since then has definitely loosened a bit. But back then, like, I remember coming up with this idea that there's like 3 possibilities for God. One is that he doesn't exist. One was that he exists and he's like powerless to stop things like that. And the other one was that like he just doesn't care. He's just indifferent about humans.
Yeah, he's indifferent or evil, right?
Yeah.
Even. That could be a 4th one. God's actually evil. Yeah, like think about that, right? Like these are the conclusions you get to, right? And if anybody had seen, if any of us could just take us there to see that classroom, I'm sure we'd all go to those 4 options pretty quickly. We at least have to entertain them.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, like, while I didn't actually see any of it happen,
Yeah.
like, throughout that time, like, that was the one thing on my mind for months, was just visualizing it over and over and over again, like, in graphic detail from everyone's perspective, including the kids, the teachers, the shooters, and just everything.
Yeah. Man. Well, I think, so there, dude, I just felt like, something just told me we should just have this conversation, because we're seeing just in the past couple of weeks, we see just, it's an ongoing series of like just violent killings here, and I don't know that, none of us know what to make of it or what to do, but we don't get to hear from people who have real direct experience. So it's valuable to know that how many people like you your lives have been touched just forever, and you never go back. You'll never be a kid. Like you know what I mean? Like your childhoods. You know what I mean, man. But I want to leave you with one thing. Can you put the next slide up, Leah? This is like this is the thing. This is sociology here, right? That we're not alone. Here, I'm just going to read it to you. You just so you're not alone, right? None of us are. We're members of this kind of this invisible tribes of people who struggle with issues. But the thing is, there are other people around us. There are other people around the world who struggle with the same issues, and they're part of this invisible tribe that really holds us. And we often think we're alone. We often think it's just me or it's just us, and this is like our class on mental health, or Bum June, or you think it's like you listened to Bum June last week, and then you hear Michael, right, and say like, wow, here are these, and you think like Jisoo, Bum June's sister, and Michael are the same person. You know what I mean? They have the same experience, but you can really imagine you and all these people of your invisible tribe of people who've been traumatized in this way, just holding hands. And, you have to keep going, and you hold hands for them, and they hold hands for you. And this is sociology, right? This is what a class like this is what it's all about. And this is actually, that was the talk that I gave when I met Marie Lucy. So it's really comes full circle in this way, but I think it really fits. So thanks, man. Yeah. Dude. Yeah, thanks, bro. I think it's just it's honorable to connect with people at the community level, right? Because we're all part of these communities. And there are these communities of people who are and have been traumatized, and we owe it to we owe it to say that we understand, or maybe we don't understand, but we're willing to sit with it. Hey, can we? Okay, let's go to the next slide. So who's on? So I wasn't really here. Do you guys want to sit on the table? You want to do that? Can you just introduce yourselves, if you would?
Hello, I'm Rand. I'm a computer science major, and I'm from Saudi Arabia.
Hi, my name is Noor. I'm from Kuwait, and I major in finance.
Okay, so Rand?
Rand.
Rand.
It's Rand, but Rand is okay.
Rand. From Saudi Arabia, Noor from Kuwait. And so here's what I want to say. I had thought of something on, oftentimes with religious holidays or times, we do something in class, right? And I've always thought about doing something during Ramadan, and I haven't. And I haven't because I never experienced Ramadan, right? I mean, I have vicariously through my friends, but I personally have never experienced Ramadan because, well, first off, I'm a Muslim by accident, but not far enough that I would fast or, that sort of thing. But 2 weeks ago, I was in Egypt when we had that week off. I was in Cairo, and it was Ramadan, and I had my first experience, and I was blown away, right? And so Bassem, our friend Bassem Marasso from Iraq, so he was going to come and meet us there, and we really wanted him to come. In the end, he didn't because he wanted to spend the time with his mother. But what he said was, oh, Cairo, I've always wanted to spend Ramadan in Cairo. It's a beautiful place to be, right? And I thought, so immediately kind of grabbed my attention because I thought, oh, okay, this will be interesting. So, hey, so tell us so what's Ramadan? First off, let's just start right there.
So Ramadan is the 9th month usually in the Islamic calendar. It's usually determined when there's a crescent. And basically, it's when Muslims start to fast, and they usually would start fasting from dawn till sunset. And so, like, do you want me to talk like about what's it about and what?
Yeah, well, let's go back to like the calendar. So we use a Gregorian calendar, and Muslims use an Islamic calendar, and they don't line up perfectly, right? Like so that Ramadan happens 11 days. It's 11 days earlier every year, right?
Yeah.
So it just keeps changing, and it just goes around and around, right?
Yeah.
And it lasts for about 30 days.
Yeah.
And you're fasting. So it's when the sun rises, does everyone know? Is it just like, how do you know? Because the sun rises or doesn't, you can just decide when it rises. Here.
It's basically just before the sun rises, so like around dawn. And we have the call to prayer, so we pray 5 times a day. And so the first prayer.
Wait, some people pray 5 times a day.
Well, if you're Muslim, you're meant to pray.
You're supposed to, but
yeah.
Dude, do you pray 5 times a day, bro? You really? Do you pray 5 times a day, dude? Every day? Okay, all right. If I went around the room, he doesn't, guaranteed, because I can tell by, I can look on his face. He doesn't pray at all. When's the last time you prayed, bro? Come on. All right, go ahead.
So the first prayer is around dawn, and so you eat something beforehand, usually like dates or drink water, and as soon as that prayer is called, you stop eating until the 4th prayer of the day, which is Maghrib, which is when the evening is where sunset, and that's when you start eating again.
So it's eating and drinking, right? You're not supposed to even have water, right?
No water, no food, no gum.
No
nothing.
gum?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be hard.
Like nothing, absolutely.
So, and even unless you're sick or if a woman is pregnant or something,
Or if you're traveling as well, it's
traveling.
Yeah, it's like practicality. So if you can't fast, you don't you get the day off, and then you can fast after Ramadan is finished.
Oh wait, so maybe that explains why so many Muslims that I encounter here at Penn State don't fast, because technically you're traveling, you know what I mean? You're here in the U.S., you're traveling, so it's like, bro, so you're all good. You don't even have to, you don't have to pray, you don't have to fast either, so you're all, yeah. So what do you do? What's the overall purpose of this 30 days?
So like technically you're not traveling, by the way, because you
I
live here.
know that. I know. I'm just trying to give people an out so they don't feel guilty.
Okay. So basically, Ramadan is like about a lot of things, and one of those reasons is like a lot of people around the world suffer, like they have no food, they have no water, and like fasting really gives you just like a very small sense of how people feel around the world, like just no water, no food, and then like sitting on the table waiting for your food like till the last second. Just really makes you feel the hunger that like just like a drop of how they feel, like that's not even a little of compared to them. So it's a time of reflection, right? Yeah, it's really a time of reflection and just trying to be the best version of yourself, really, and getting closer to God.
So like for Christians, for example, for people of all, Christian Jews, I mean, there's lots of different aspects of this, but there are periods of time, like in the Christian world, Lent is one, right? The weeks of Lent. But you're not doing something every single day, right? Maybe you don't eat fish on Friday, you give something up for Lent, whatever. But like here, you're doing it with over 1 billion other people. You're following the same pattern day after day. And so it's a time to really just look at yourself, think about yourself, and do all the like the internal work, the prayers, the work that you would have. It's pretty cool, actually. But you have to experience it, right? Like, so it's probably very different here than when you were back home.
Yeah, and one of the like hardest thing being like a student here is like my family is like 6,000 miles away, so you have to experience it like alone. But also there's like a lot of there's a community here of like Muslims and Arabs, so it's been great. Like Ramadan was like 5 days ago. It finished 5 days ago.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But it's so much as a time of community, right? So I didn't know that until I mean, I knew that, right? I want to go through a couple things here with you all, right? But I didn't have a full sense of it till I experienced it, right? So I want to be clear, so the class understands. Like especially in the summertime, if it's really hot, and you know where the two of you live, especially in Kuwait, man, Kuwait's so hot in the summertime because it's the hottest of the Gulf countries. Like in the day, if you're fasting and it's 120 or 130 degrees, there's not much you can do because you're not drinking water, you're not out working, you can't. So all day long you're just going really easy, and things tend to slow down a lot, right? And then at night things start popping, man, because once you break fast and you're with all of these people in your community, first off, you're having a big meal. You're bringing all these people together. It's a really cool experience. And then it just goes, right? Till like how far into the morning are you rocking and rolling? Like, can you just say something about that? Because I'm going to show a video from Cairo. Yeah.
I mean, like, me personally, I'd sleep like around 5 a.m.
You go to sleep around 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're up all night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, for as long as I remember, like back home, usually Ramadan would start like around like summer break for me. So I don't really remember going out or doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very easy. And like for the people who go and work, I feel like it's hard for them. And like now I feel what they feel since like going to school every day and then like.
Hold the mic closer.
Oh, like from going to school every day. So that's kind of like hard to like balance school and like sleeping and waking up in the morning and just like having a habit. And it's cool like that there's a lot of people here who are also celebrating Ramadan, but like everything at night is closed, and then like back home everything would open like after 8.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah, so it's like everyone's in it, right? It's so yeah, it's cool. It's so cool because it's like, it's such a time. By the way, you said, I know, you struck me, it's like 30 days. It's like, it's 30 days of connection and building community, right? Community ties. So here, can you put that one up on the side? I wanna play it. So I was down in the souk in Cairo, and this is like 12, this is it past midnight, okay? And now understand, like, it's past midnight. We're in the souk. You can, yeah. Just this is me walking through. Look at all the kids. First off, just look at it's happening, man. Like this is a happening place. Like this is on a Wednesday night or a Tuesday night, by the way. And the thing that's so striking is the families that are out, right? Like everyone's just out. Like you're gonna be out. The motorcyclists coming in, all the shops are open. I mean, they're open all night long, right? And it's just, look at that kid, look at the little kid on the motorcycle. Yeah, don't do that at home, kids. Yeah. And it's so happening, right? It's just, this would be like the souk in Kuwait, right? I mean, where did I know? Look at the little girl with the, yeah. Isn't that, that's cool, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much like this in like almost all Arab countries. Like the malls are still open, restaurants are open until like 5 a.m. where they close out.
Because you got to eat at night, right? And then, I mean, you're breaking your fast, but then you're going to eat a big meal. Like you're going to eat an early breakfast. Like you got to like prepare for the fast. So you got to eat and drink before you actually wake up and start your day, start the next fast, which is kind of telling in a way. Right.
Yeah. I also want to mention, since Ramadan is like 10 day. It keeps changing every year.
Yeah.
When like I was a child, it used to be in the summertime, like
Yeah.
Noor mentioned, and so like right now it's like when school is starting, and even in like the Middle Eastern countries, so it's like a shift for all of us to like go to school and be fasting, or yeah. Whereas before it was like vacation.
Yeah, it's like
you
vacation.
can sleep whenever and
Yeah.
wake up whenever.
Yeah, you have to build it in, right? So let me show you another. So I took this video, by the way. This is me just walking through. So can you do the one of the haircut at 1 a.m.? So I was going back to my hotel, and I see this barber shop that's open. And I'm just like, hey, I need a haircut. So I go in, and the guy here, see the guy in the back? He was getting a facial by this other guy. And and so I walk in, and I'm just like, the barbershop's open, right? It was actually like 1:30 a.m. And I'm just like, so I asked, hey, nobody spoke English. And so I just figured out, I'm asking him, are you any good? Like, are you going to butcher my hair? Are you going to be all right? And he's like, yeah, no, come on, man. And so, so I got a haircut at like 1:30 in the morning, right? And like, why not? Because this is the thing. It's just hopping all night long, and then we figured out. The guy had a fade. Wait, go back. You go back. Go back to the haircut thing. Yeah, I just want to show you. Just start it again really fast. See the dude in the hat? Like he had this fade, and I'm like, dude, do not give me a fade. All right, I'm too old for that shit. And so it was really, really cool. And he was good, man. I think he gave me a really nice haircut. Okay, go to the one. What else do we have? Wait. Oh, the mosque. Do Al Hussein Mosque. So I went because I went into the mosque, right? And so you got to turn the volume up on this. Of course, everyone has their phones out. This was long after prayers, by the way. Yeah. And like, see how things are just popping, man. Things are going, and they're going all night long. And it's so safe, right? Like, first off, Cairo is pretty safe anyway. But it's so safe because it's a month in the Muslim world. It's the month of reflection. So, like, it's just safe. Everything's so safe. Except taxi rides. And I want to explain something to you. I want to show you something. Get ready for that video. I just want to do this sociologically. Actually, I'll wait. Hang on. I'm going to show that when we're done here. Anything else you want to say about that people could know about this? Like, what's your favorite part of Ramadan, actually, each of you? How about that?
For me, it's honestly like the vibes of Ramadan. Like, since I was a kid, it's just like a cultural thing. Like, you go with your family, you wait, like you restrain yourself from like anything bad. Like, even if you're swearing or you have a bad mouth, you stop yourself from that for a whole month. So it's I like the vibes and just like the cultural aspect of it as well.
See, the purpose of it is, and the reason it's celebrated, by the way, is it's recognized as when God or Allah first gave the Quran to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And so the words of the Quran were first given to the Prophet Muhammad, and at the beginning of what's celebrated at the beginning of Ramadan. So that's why this is a holiday in the first place. Noor, how about you? What's your favorite part of it?
I do like the habit you get to have like after Ramadan, like just like she said, like stop swearing and like saying bad things, or like getting used to reading the Quran every day and just having to like make good deeds, like instead of just like waiting for Ramadan every year. I feel like you catch on and you get to do that like most of the time throughout the whole year, and just getting a good habit out of it, I feel like is my favorite part.
Yeah, like breaking one's habit, breaking one's routine, right?
Like yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's cool. No, I saw that, man. I really felt like I wanted to be in that community. And so the first night I went down to the souk, the second night Lori and I went back, and we were just kind of just walking around, you know, like. And then the third night we went back again, not to this area, but to a different area, and like, yeah, it's just awesome. You can just feel the energy, the families, the connections, and like, yeah, it was really, really special. So that's cool. Awesome. I'm good. Any final words? Assalamu alaikum. All right. Thanks, man. Thank you. Hey, so I want to do something. I want to show you something, because this is a really cool sociological piece. So can you go to the slide, the final slide, second to last slide? First, I'm going to show the video first, but I want to like show this. So, yeah, next one. Yeah, so this is a photo from, so I want to explain something to you, because I think it's a sociological insight that I got in Egypt that really was, I don't know, it just was, so this is from in Addis Ababa. And the first time this is in Ethiopia. The first time I was in Ethiopia, I had this experience that something was really wrong. And I didn't know what it was, but it just felt like the world was kind of tipped on its axis in some really strange way. And my wife and I kept, as we walked around the streets, you know, we kept saying like, okay, what's happening, right? But then we went back, like we had a project there. So like 3 months later, we were back. And what we realized was that nobody ever honked their horn. Like, nobody honked their horn. And the traffic was crazy, but no one honked their horn. And I'm showing you this photo because, look here. See how these cars are going here, these cars are going here. These two cars are stuck. This one's going this way. These are going this way. Everybody is somewhere. This truck's trying to come this way. These cars are cutting in front of them. And you would see these cars cut somebody off, and everyone would just slow down and wait for them, and no one ever honked. No one ever honked. It was like eerie silence driving around. And I was like, so strange, as opposed to Egypt, where people just drive down the street and honk. I mean, you just like endlessly honk, or Bogota. I mean, they're all over everywhere. Korea, people don't honk very much. And my Korean friends, I tell them, like, this is really quiet here. This is amazing. They think drivers are aggressive. And I'm like, yo, you haven't traveled outside of Korea. But anyway, go to the next video, so you can get ready. Don't play the video yet. I don't want to explain it. So what happens in Egypt is crazy driving. You go down these roads, there's no lanes, there's nothing, just people are going wherever they want to go. They go in and they go out, they push people over. You'll be in your car and you'll just sort of push the other driver over a little bit, and they go over, or you squeeze in between somebody, or you get right up on someone's rear end and you're honking your horn and they got to get out of the way, and whatever it is, right? But the craziest driving I've ever seen in my life, but I never witnessed anybody getting angry. Everyone is just pushing each other around. You get pushed, you push somebody else, doesn't matter. I didn't see anybody get angry. It's as though everyone just, maybe it's because it was Ramadan, I don't know, but I don't think so. But here, if someone even dares to kind of cut you off even a little bit, like people, we just have this, like we're offended offended by something. We watch somebody cut somebody else off, and we get offended by the fact that they cut that other person off. Like, it's just so common here. And there, it was just like nothing. So I took this video in the, go ahead, you can play it, in the back seat of the taxi. And this dude's just flying down the road. And this guy's like 70, 75 maybe, man. And he's just, you're gonna watch a couple, see his right hand, he's just honking the horn constantly. He's just honking. Cutting in and out, watch other people cut in and out. And this wasn't the craziest part of him driving, because once I realized that I needed to take some video of this. And what's interesting, see, he just keeps honking. I don't know if you can hear it. It's just like honk, honk. And it's almost just to announce to the world that they're there. And they just move and they just push people. You have lines in the road, but I mean, there are places where the lines don't matter. They're completely irrelevant. See, he's just honking, right? He's just right up on that person. He's gonna cut through here. Motorcycle goes by, and he's cutting people off, and it's just is what it is. Look, he's gonna spit in between. That car's trying to get over, but look, he's gonna try to cut. He wants to cut in between these cars, and he's honking his horn. And I'm like, holy shit, do it, dude, go for it, because I have my camera out, you know. And then, you know, and that car just barely got over because those other cars were stopped. So now look, he's gonna fly, he's gonna come around this way. And he's still honking. People are honking, man. And now he just cut somebody off, right, who was coming up here, and he's gonna go around here. And no one's angry at him, and he's not angry at anybody else. People are cutting this guy off, he's laughing, he's cutting other people off, they're laughing. It doesn't matter. And I thought, this is what's so fascinating about life, that cultures and people have different agreements on how to live. And once you tap into that, life becomes pretty cool.